welcome back to my channel. I'm back with an update. Bit of a shocking update. I had my laparoscopy and hysteroscopy surgery on Tuesday. It is Friday today. So I'm a little bit sore still, hence why I'm kind of looking a bit uncomfortable. It just took me so long to get ready, but I wanted to update you guys. I've been absent for a few weeks. I've just been feeling really anxious leading up to the surgery and just, sorry if I'm breathing weird. When they do the surgery, if you're not aware, they put quite a bit of gas into you so they can see what they're doing during the surgery, and they can't get rid of all of the gas before stitching you up, and so you're left with quite a bit of gas in your system, which causes nerve pain as it rises in your body. It's been 3 days since the surgery and it's still in my chest area. It's a really bizarre kind of feeling. Can feel it kind of moving around when I move. I've been staying pretty still the last few days, just because it can get quite painful. But anyway, I haven't tried talking this much in 3 days, so bear with me, and I haven't sat upright like this since the surgery either without being supported. So yeah, Tim and I went to the hospital on Tuesday afternoon. We arrived at 1:45. We were sitting around for a couple of hours, maybe even 3 hours. I don't think I was wheeled in until around 4. When we arrived, I was asked to give a urine sample, which I wasn't expecting. It was a very warm day on Tuesday, and I had been obviously fasting for 6 hours prior to the arrival time, but also not drinking any water a few hours prior. So I was probably a bit dehydrated, and I didn't know that I would have to give a urine sample on arrival. It was just a urine sample so they could do a pregnancy test to rule out that I wasn't pregnant before doing the surgery. So that caught me off guard a little bit, and I was in the bathroom for 15 minutes. The tap was running, I tried everything, and I could not pee for the life of me. So I went back into the nurse and told her, I just can't, I'm going to have to wait a little later, and we were already going to be waiting for a long time anyway, so it wasn't a massive deal, even though they made it out to be a little bit. So I tried a little bit later, got the sample, took it up to the desk like I'd been told. I literally haven't spoken this much. Weird lady at the desk made me so uncomfortable. Kind of stared at me blankly. I gave it to her and went to sit back down in the waiting room with Tim. Then I got called in to get changed into my hospital gown and dressing gown. The same nurse came into the dressing room with me just to tell me, so we did the pregnancy test and you're not pregnant. Yeah, thanks. On Tuesday I was cycle day 8. I knew I wasn't pregnant. It was the look she gave me. Anyway, I got changed, and yeah, the nerves started to build. I had no idea what to expect. We had no idea what to expect from the surgery. We had a failed transfer not long ago. I haven't been pregnant for a year since my last miscarriage in September 2016, so last year. So over a year I haven't been pregnant. And I knew something wasn't right. This whole thing is very similar to what happened following my first miscarriage in October 2014. I didn't get pregnant for a year following that miscarriage. I had a laparoscopy, had my tubes flushed, was told my left tube was fully blocked. He couldn't get any flow in my left tube. My right tube was partially blocked, so he could get minimal flow, and was highly recommended to do IVF. I then fell pregnant weeks after that surgery, so I believe the flushing of the tubes helped clear something, some mucus or something blocking the way, and allowed me to become pregnant. But again, it's been over a year since I've been pregnant again, and my hunch was that there was a blockage in my tubes preventing me from becoming pregnant. We also didn't know whether I had scar tissue from the D&Cs that I've had. When I had my first laparoscopy 2 years ago, I didn't have any scar tissue, but I'd had 2 more D&Cs since that surgery, so I wasn't sure whether I have Asherman syndrome. We were also wanting to rule out hydrosalpingi, which is where when your tubes are damaged, they can hold toxic fluid in them, and that can leak out into your uterus, causing embryos to not implant or causing miscarriage. So we wanted to rule that out as well. Sorry, I've got shooting pain in my shoulder right now. So yeah, those were the things that we kind of wanted to rule out. Going into the surgery, my biggest fear was losing both of my tubes. My specialist had told me that there was a high chance that the left one would need to be removed and could have this hydrosalpingi, the fluid, toxic fluid. It's better out than in that case, because it can, as I said, cause miscarriage. Sorry, this is going to be such an annoying video to watch. So yes, I had a feeling my left tube would need to be removed, which I felt okay with. I was told 2 years ago that it was fully blocked. But my greatest fear was losing my right tube. IVF has not been kind to us. We haven't had any luck really with IVF. I've gotten a lot further along in my pregnancies when they've been naturally conceived, and my fear was losing my right tube and that not being a possibility anymore and having to rely on IVF. That thought terrified me. Apart from not knowing what to expect from the surgery, I was also a bit concerned about the recovery, because the recovery from my last lap 2 years ago was horrendous. It was awful. The gas pain was the worst. This time around, I'm happy to say it hasn't been nearly as bad. I'll share what I've done differently this time in a different video, otherwise it's just going to be way too long. I'm obviously still in a little bit of pain, but nothing like I was last time. When I got wheeled in, I spoke to the anesthetist, I can't say that properly, I think that's how you say it, and asked him if there was anything I could do to ease the gas pain or help it, help make it more bearable. He was like, no, there's nothing you can do, you just have to wait it out. He was very dismissive, couldn't care less. He gave me a big spiel, which was clearly rehearsed or memorised. Very unpersonable. This was my 9th surgery in 3 years, different surgeries, but the anaesthetists have always been beyond lovely. Perhaps I've just been really lucky. This one just was very whatever. My specialist came in and I voiced my concerns about losing my right tube. She said she would only remove it if it absolutely has to be removed. I also told her that I've been getting twinges of pain in my ovaries in the second half of my cycles, the last 2 cycles, which I thought was weird and nothing I've really had before. And it hasn't just been around ovulation, it's gone on, longer than that in the second half of my cycle. So I thought that was weird. So she was going to look into that. The other thing that was weird was my period this month only lasted 2 days, which is really bizarre. TMI, sorry, but I just thought that's odd too. I got wheeled in and I was put out very quickly. Didn't really even give me warning. I knew it was coming, but yeah, they just knocked me out, and I woke up feeling okay, not nauseous. I haven't felt nauseous the last few surgeries. After anaesthetic, I would always feel really sick. but the last few surgeries, it hasn't had that effect. Perhaps the anaesthetic, I'm getting used to it. My body's getting used to it. I've had so many. I don't know, but I'm grateful I didn't feel sick. I was in slight pain, woke up gradually. I take a while to wake up from anaesthetic. I got wheeled into another room and got left with a nurse who was the most irritating lady I think I have come across. I'm very patient. She was just beyond irritating. My specialist came into the room and my stomach flipped because I knew I was going to be given news I'd been waiting for so long. I'd be able to find out what's going on inside of me. She came and said, "So everything looks fine. Your tubes are clear. Everything looks great." And I didn't quite know what to say because I was not expecting to hear that at all. I think I said to her, what do you mean everything's fine? My left tube is open. They're not damaged. They're perfectly healthy. Both tubes are clear. What do you do with that information? I didn't in that moment feel like it was good news, even though it is obviously good news, but I think the shock just took over. I didn't quite believe it. For 2 years we've been under the impression that my tubes are damaged. We were told 2 years ago that IVF would be our best option to conceive, given the state of my tubes. We made financially draining decisions based on the fact that my tubes are blocked, and now to be told that they're perfectly healthy and clear is... I can't explain to you how I felt. She went on to say, there's no endo, no Asherman syndrome. I just couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe that everything is normal and looking good. If that's the case, why is it not happening? It is beyond frustrating not to have answers, and I'm over not having answers. It is exhausting. She said to me, "You should be happy." And I just thought to myself, you have no idea what I've been through. You have no idea what impact this information has on me. I was totally overwhelmed, and I didn't know what to say. It made me question, does she even have the right person here? Is she giving me the results from the woman who went before me, you know? I honestly could not believe it, and I asked her, how is it possible for my tubes to go from damage to being perfectly healthy and clear? She didn't have a very convincing explanation for it. She said, "Oh, you know, it can happen, I guess. It's not very common or likely, but it can happen." Obviously, if my tubes are clear, they're clear. I'm hoping before she flushed them in this surgery, both tubes were blocked with something which was preventing me from falling pregnant, and I'm hoping by flushing them it has cleared them completely and allowed it to happen. That's the only thing that's been done and potentially fixed that I can hold on to hope for, I guess. It's of course good news, but I got into the car and I was sobbing, uncontrollably sobbing. So many emotions, not having answers. In hindsight, we do have answers. You know, we know we've ruled out Asherman syndrome, we've ruled out hydrocele. But in the moment, I just wanted something to have been fixed and give us that renewed sense of hope, and we didn't get that. I'm hoping that the reason for my miscarriages has been autoimmune and my elevated natural killer cells due to that, and by taking steroids and Clexane in my next pregnancy, which I haven't done in a pregnancy before, I'm hoping I will be able to maintain a healthy pregnancy, and praying that will be the case. When I called him and told him, he was shocked and said, well, that's a plot twist. He was a lot quicker to feel really good about it. Of course, he said, that's really good news, and it is good news. The shock is still wearing off. It's been 3 days. I did call my previous clinic this morning requesting the surgical notes and photographs that were taken in my first surgery. I just want answers. I want an explanation. I feel like I'm owed an explanation. Ultimately, I do feel hopeful. I'm trying not to get my hopes up too much because we all know how exhausting that is, that roller coaster. But it is seriously one thing after another. If this journey has taught me one thing, it's to expect the unexpected. But this, I was not expecting. Damaged tubes do not repair themselves. That was the impression I was under. That is, as far as I'm concerned, fact. So it makes me question what my previous doctor saw, and you don't want to be skeptical. I did feel like he was a good doctor, and I don't feel like he would have been the kind of person to lie about the state of my tubes just to get me to do IVF. But how do tubes just heal themselves? It's just... Tim had to pick up the pain medication from the pharmacy downstairs. The hospital had a pharmacy downstairs, and the nurse sent the scripts down, and she kept coming in saying, has she picked up? But she kept calling him she. She picked up the medication even though she'd spoken to him on the phone, clearly a male. It was a circus. Tim was waiting ages at the pharmacy. He ended up calling me, saying the pharmacist said they haven't received anything from the nurse. The nurse told me that she'd sent it down through the chute. Tim told the pharmacist this. The pharmacist told Tim that people don't send things down the chute anymore. It's not what we want to deal with. We just wanted to go home. Then the nurse put my clothes at the bottom of my bed and told me to get changed. She left the curtain wide open. There's a corridor of people walking past, men, women. I couldn't get changed. She didn't leave me a buzzer, so I couldn't even buzz for her. I was turning around at the back of the wall to try and find the buzzer, hurting my neck because I've just had surgery, twisting in ways I shouldn't be twisting. And then I ended up calling out to her. No one was responding. I'm shocked I didn't fall to pieces in that moment. She finally came back in, shut the curtain. Before I could ask her for assistance, I had these blood clotting stockings on, which were super tight on my legs, and of course I wouldn't be able to get them off myself. They were glued to my legs. To get me to change myself without even offering to help, it's not an experience I've had. The nurses I've dealt with in the past have been so lovely and helpful. Oh, this lady was a nightmare. She then gave me this car seat pad to take in the car so I wouldn't need to get my car dry cleaned. And I told her, am I likely to bleed that much? I haven't, after every one of my surgeries, I've only had spotting or slight bleeding. I'm not likely to need a protective pad for my whole car seat. And I asked her if it's necessary. She said no. Well, why the hell are you giving it to me? I just wanted to get out of there. She was driving me insane. And so yeah, then I got in the car and fell to pieces. 24 hours later, the shock did start to wear off, and I am feeling incredibly grateful to have received the news that my tubes are clear. I'm choosing to believe that that is the case and that I haven't been given incorrect information, and holding on to hope that this exhausting roller coaster of a journey will end happily soon. I am planning to hopefully have a consultation with a reproductive immunologist and get just a second opinion in regards to that kind of area. I do have elevated natural killer cells in my uterus, so that's really the only thing I'm writing off. My current specialist isn't a firm believer in the whole autoimmune side of things, even though she has given me the steroids to take for my next pregnancy. I just want to get another opinion with that area, because I do think that's why I have had trouble maintaining a pregnancy. That is the shocking results from my laparoscopy hysteroscopy. Not at all what we were expecting, totally blindsided, totally shocked. But thank you for all of the love and support over on Instagram and Facebook. I shared my feelings leading into the surgery and following the results, and got so much understanding and kindness from you guys, and I'm forever grateful. I will have to do another video separately on my recovery from this surgery, and what I've done differently to the last, because I feel like it's really helped. I'm definitely going to do that video because I think it's a good video to have out there to help others. The recovery can be brutal, and I am very pleasantly surprised that the things I've done this time have prevented it from being as bad as last time. Thank you for your patience with me. I've had a number of you check in, see how I'm going. I can't believe it's the 1st of December. I had a few of you ask if I was going to do Vlogmas. I would have loved to, but I'm working all the way up until Christmas. But I'd like to do a few videos in between now and Christmas. We plan to get our Christmas tree this weekend and start decorating, but the next couple of days are going to be terrible weather-wise. We've been told to expect torrential rain, flash flooding, 3 months worth of rain in 2 days. So that it's been raining on and off, but it hasn't really hit yet. Hopefully it won't be as bad as they're saying it will be. Might not do the Christmas tree this weekend if the weather doesn't let us. But we'll see. I hope you're all doing really well wherever you're at in your journey, and I apologise again for the lack of videos lately. Thank you so much for your love and support and understanding. You're all amazing, and I will speak to you very soon. Bye guys.